Hi, I'm George Rogers with Choice Skills. I want to welcome you today to our discussion on what I consider to be the foundational character trait, the fundamental character trait, if you will, the character trait that really kind of governs who we are as individuals in more than any other way. It's a character trait that's not thought of as such, but I believe it to be the root of all happiness and well-being and everything that's contrary to that. And what is that character trait? It's thinking rightly, the ability to think rightly. Now, how did I arrive upon this? Well, it's really from the writings of Benjamin Franklin. When I was putting together the book, Benjamin Franklin's The Art of Virtue, Franklin, an article that Franklin had written for the Pennsylvania Gazette in 1730, published in the summer of 1730 in 2 parts, was titled Dialogues on Virtue and Pleasure. And in this article, it was really a dialogue between 2 individuals, Horatio, a lover of pleasure, and Philocles, a wise philosopher. Now, these 2 were friends despite their differing lifestyles, and Horatio, upon finding that his lifestyle had plunged him into some difficulties and troubles that were quite vexing to him, went to Philocles to find out how it was possible that he could live his life free from similar cares. He was kind of envious of Philocles at this point in time. And I won't go into the whole dialogue right now because it's worth a whole lot more than I have for the moment. And I'll even try to make it available to you here in the near future. But in conclusion, we have Horatio saying to Philocles, "I find then that in order to please ourselves rightly, or to do good to others morally, we should take great care of our opinions." To which Philocles replies, "Nothing concerns you more, for as the happiness or real good of man consists in right action, and right action cannot be produced without right opinion, it behooves us above all things in this world to take care that our opinions of things be according to the nature of things. The foundation of all virtue and happiness is thinking rightly." Let me repeat that briefly. As the happiness or real good of men consists in right action, and right action cannot be produced without right opinion, I think we all could understand that, it behooves us above all things in this world to take care that our opinions of things be according to the nature of things. The foundation of all virtue and happiness is thinking rightly. Well, what do we mean about nature of things? Well, let's take a simple example here that we're all familiar with, perhaps too familiar with. The nature of opinions. Now, we all love our opinions, and we're so fond of our opinions that we'll fight over them, we'll argue over them, we'll even on occasion kill each other over them. I mean, it's the root of disagreements between religions, politics, in families, conflicts, in communities, in gang fights. I mean, we all have our opinions, and we're willing to defend them to the death, if you will. And unfortunately, it sometimes comes to that. But if you think about it for a moment, if you have 2 diametrically opposed opinions, you know a couple things. The very nature of them. One is they both can't be right. Now, it's possible they both might be wrong, but they both can't be right. And it's possible that one may be right and the other's wrong. But more likely what the case is that there's an element of truth in both opinions. And arriving at that truth is the thing that we're lacking the ability to do. That's the thing that requires our ability to think rightly. Now, I happened upon this because this was because of Franklin. Not only was this essay written by him when he was a young man, but he practiced it in his life. Whenever he formed opinions, he was never so fond of them that he wouldn't give them up if they were proven to be wrong. You know, many of us were so fond of our opinions we won't even allow the possibility that we're wrong. But he actually tested his opinions against others. He checked whenever he had an idea that he thought might be interesting or controversial, he would test it against others and test it against people who thought differently than he did. And if he found that his thinking was in error, he would change it. And he actually developed a set of very specific skills to help him think rightly. Well, that's going to be the purpose of our next video, but in any event, this whole notion of thinking rightly is a foundational character trait, and one upon which all of our other things that we're going to be talking about is based. And so these skills that Franklin developed are the skills we're going to be talking about, and I call them the missing piece in education, and that'll be the subject of our next video, and I'll introduce that to you here in a few days. So best wishes, and thanks for joining me. Again, George Rogers with Choice Skills.